people think of animation only doing things where people are dancing around and doing a lot of histrionics, but animation is not a genre. And people keep saying, the animation genre. It's not a genre. A Western is a genre. Animation is an art form, and it can do any genre. You know, it could do a detective film, a cowboy film, a horror film, an R-rated film, or a kid's fairy tale. But it doesn't do one thing. And next time I hear, oh, what's it like working in the animation genre? I'm gonna punch that person.
So I absolutely love Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It provides a lot more depth to characters we already know, it has a lot more fun set pieces, and overall it provides a more mature storytelling with the introduction of Knuckles. We see the importance of heroism, each hero's moment to shine, while having a pretty entertaining journey to get to that moment. And what I find better about this is that you really don't need to play the original Sonic games to understand these characters or their relationships. They're built up over time in the actual movie, and all the dynamics feel genuine and tailored for this movie without being dependent on the Sonic games. Initially, I was going to make a review on Sonic 2, but honestly, it would mostly consisted of minor tweaks and linked their scenes, and it wouldn't have justified its existence that way. Instead, I'm going to be doing the Prewrite on the next movie as the third installment introduces Shadow the Hedgehog.
My God. Project Shadow.
Shadow the Hedgehog is one of my favorite Sonic characters of all time, and from its initial release in Sonic Adventure 2, he really provided more depth in Sonic Universe and its themes even more in Knuckles. So considering the impact Knuckles left on a series, cinematic universe, whatever you want to call it, I want to make this movie as mature as I possibly can for a bunch of colorful hedgehogs and animals. Fuck all those abrupt moments of pure kitty fella, I'm killing all of it. My goal is to make this movie as mature as you can get while providing the existing themes that we already have established throughout the past two movies. And I'm mostly doing this as I come with an important announcement. I am officially canonizing in this Prewrite that Sam Witwer is voicing Shadow the Hedgehog, and there's nothing the planet can do to stop me. With that out of the way, let's get straight into my Prewrite for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Agent, I want an update.
Still searching, sir. We haven't found any sign of Robotnik.
No one can survive that crash. He's toast. Good riddance. What a mess that
Sir, there's something else. When we were wiping Robotnik off our database, we found something. A file buried deep in our system and dating back over 50 years.
What was it?
Coordinates, sir.
Coordinates. To what?
A secret research facility. It was a black site, sir. Someone worked very hard to keep this hidden.
My God. Project Shadow.
We open up to a strange facility. Sirens start to blare. Gun soldiers start marching throughout the halls of the laboratory. Don't let it escape, you can hear one of the gun soldiers say. You then see a little girl's feet run to the cold floors as another gun soldier says, "There's no time, leave no survivors." We then cut to a glove tightly clutching onto a girl's hand attached to black and red fur. The two reach a large observation room, hovering over the planet Earth itself. What do we do now? The mysterious male voice says, while the little girl pushes the person covered in fur and locks him into a escape pod. You see the red eyes of shock and fear as he cries out, "Moria! What are you doing?" Moria rushes to push the button that initiates a countdown to return him to Earth. "You must leave now," the girl faintly says, out of breath and visibly weak. "Shadow, promise me. The people on the planet." The doors open and the last thing Shadow sees is gun soldiers surrounding Moria as his full body is now shown, screaming, "Moria!" as he's blasted off. We cut to years later where the pod is laid alone in a crater in the middle of nowhere. Gun trucks pull up to the site and we start to see groups of soldiers come out while Commander steps out and says, "We did it, sir. We finally found him." The current commander of Gun looks down the capsule, showing a hibernated Shadow, fueled by anger. He says, "Lock him up." It's now the present day. When Shadow emerges from the capsule he has been stored in for 50 years. He's kneeled and his fist planted firmly to the ground before he stands back up, completely lost. He looks around and notices sights all too familiar to him. The cold, unforgiving laboratory filled with security cameras and red lights start flashing, illuminating the room. The mere remembrance of what happened enrages him, and red lightning starts to course throughout his whole body. He lets out a loud grunt before he zooms off of the red trail, with yellow lines following behind the trail. You know, to appeal to the same speed trails the movie series has been doing, but to give him a more distinct look. Shadow hears a robotic voice. "Alert! Experiment escape! Full lockdown initiating!" All the doors surrounding the lab start to close, but it's no use. Shadow breaks through every single door that tries to stop him, with a brigade of gun soldiers waiting right at the end. You can hear the guards start to freak out. One of them says, "There's no way this is real. Commander Walter said this shouldn't happen." And then one of the more headstrong soldiers say, "Just be ready to open fire. That blasted robotic has one final trick up his sleeve." The sound of doors breaking and crashing keeps going and going until it stops. And all of a sudden, the final door is blasted open and a huge cloud of smoke emerges until a red surge of energy illuminates the smoke, and all the soldiers start to rain all hell. They use all the firepower they can, but Shadow's moving unlike anything anyone's ever seen. It's almost like he's manipulating time and space itself, zipping straight past the bullets right into the guards, knocking them all out one by one, pushing them off bridges. It's an absolute massacre. The last guard stands, cowering in fear, and Shadow pins him to the ground as he asks in pure rage, "Where is Moria?" Who boy, that was an opening. So battle action for Shadow is going to be slightly different than what we're used to seeing. I'm going to keep all the core elements for sure, but the emphasis I want takes for his character is just how lost he is. He just sees himself in the same area, being treated as the same lab rat, reliving the same horrific moment, and is under the impression that humanity will never change. He will always see humans as the same humans that kept Maria and himself from living a normal life. The only difference is that he's been in hibernation for so long that he keeps telling himself that Maria isn't dead. She's out there somewhere, he just knows it. Maria didn't die, she couldn't have. Not before she got a chance to experience Earth. Anyways, bing bang boom, we get title screen with the hardcore rock theme. We open up to Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles that are all fighting off against Robotnik's remaining robots. There are so many mechs after Robotnik's downfall that are still constant and still functioning with the only purpose to destroy anyone that opposes Robotnik. We get the classic Sonic narration where Sonic says that Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have been working for a while now to get rid of the rest of Robotnik's robots. However, every day it feels like that every 10 badniks they destroy, another 50 show up. They don't know why this keeps happening, even after Robotnik is supposed to be destroyed. We get some witty banter throughout the fight, like Knuckles saying, "These tin cans are no match for me, keep them coming." And then Tails says, "The consistency of our encounters is statistically impossible after Robotnik is gone." After the fight, they talk more about their theories on how these badniks keep coming. Maybe Tails can say that maybe there's an automated production facility, or Sonic can make a Blade Runner reference, and the badniks become self-aware and start reproducing themselves. I don't fucking know, I barely know about Blade Runner. All of a sudden, Tails receives a message for his communication device, and it's from Green Hills. And all I can hear is Commander Walters' voice saying, "We have the whole town taken hostage, including your family, man. If you want to see them again, I'd come to Green Hills if I were you." All three of them run back to Green Hills, but by the time they're back, it's too late. The town is completely wrecked. Windows broken, garbage everywhere, people being evacuated from their own homes. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles start to see if everyone's safe, and Sonic goes looking for Tom. They all split up, and Sonic starts to see the entire town in a few seconds, and then finds Tom in the middle of the street. He immediately asks if Tom's okay, but Tom can only say, "Sonic, don't, it's a trap." Before Sonic turns around and gun soldiers trap his hands and legs with electronic cuffs, and the soldiers and Commander Walters come right behind Tom and fight Sonic. "Get him into my helicopter. We're escorting him to Prison Island." Sonic tries to break free, but it's no use. Gun really seemed to have upped their game. "Why is this happening? I helped defeat Robotnik. What's your problem this time?" Commander Walters is very discreet about it and says, "That's what you want to think. We know you're working with Robotnik before." Sonic gags in disgust. "Ugh, work with Robotnik? You really lost the plot this time. Enough, get him on my helicopter." As he's pulled away, Tom screams out Sonic's name before turning to the Commander. "You're not going to get away with this time. This is bigger than you think, Olive Garden boy." Before Robotnik disappeared, his V was just a cover-up to unlock the most dangerous experiment on the planet. What experiment? Shadow's been running around for the facility for a few days now. Despite how much the Sider's place haunts him, he needs to know what happened. "Maria, Professor, what happened? Why was I released? I need answers." He ends up tracing himself back to his test tube before he was first released. He looks through the computer trying to find old files, data logs, whatever. It comes to a shock when he only finds a file on the computer that reads, "Confidential, password required." Shadow thinks for a moment before he types in the first thing that comes to mind. The only thing. Maria. The file opens detailing everything. Shadow's escape to Earth, but also the execution of Maria Robotnik. Shadow is completely speechless. He didn't want to believe it. The file detailed that Maria had an unknown disease that was isolated in the Ark her whole life. Gun wrongfully executed her so a disease couldn't spread to the rest of the world due to Shadow's intentions to escape the Earth with Maria. How could they? Just a little girl who wanted to enjoy life. Shadow's whole world collapsed. Then, he sensed something. An energy similar to his power. He ran wherever the energy source was coming from, almost as if it was pulling him towards it. Miles outside the facility, he stopped and saw the thing he was attracted to. A gem illuminating in a bright green tint. He picked it up, and then images started coming back to him. He got flashbacks of Professor. Maria. Gun's infiltration. Gun shooting Maria. And then, a machine. Hooked up to an immense laser cannon with diamond-shaped holes used to power the machine. He knows what he has to do. Humanity would have its changed. There's no point preserving the life. Not after what happened with Maria. His only goal is revenge. He has to power the Ark's cannon. Now, I know that Shadow's release was all planned out by Robotnik and Stone was shown to be alive and disguised as a gun soldier. Trust me, I'm getting to him later. I could just made it to where exactly the events of SC2 happened while just in Soda excited Eggman, but that's kinda lame. I want Shadow's motivations to be his own, fueled by his own troubled past and tragedy. Instead of being pushed more just because he was freed by someone else, it motivates him more about helping that person instead of doing it out of his own pain and anger. If I'm truly trying to push Shadow's character to where it's supposed to be, then having him always follow the orders of someone else so he can follow his own plan just doesn't work for me. Sure, Robotnik is someone the one that freed him, but that doesn't mean that he should be entitled to helping them achieve their goals instead of accomplishing his own. Him starting out as subordinate to Robotnik kinda muddles the growth he made in Inventor 2, and I want to change that. So now, we finally get to see what Stone is up to now that Robotnik is gone. While the Doctor's previous data was wiped in Green Hills, Robotnik made several hidden bases far outside of Green Hills. One of those bases being in Seattle, Washington, hidden behind a closed down building that's boarded up as a sign saying, "Closed down permanently, keep out." Stone is inside the building trying to track down Seattle's location. He keeps talking to himself, saying, "I won't fail you, Doctor. Not this time." Every machine could be tracked. If Robotnik had a way to release Shadow, he had a way to track him. He finds the coordinates that Shadow was being held and hacks to the security cameras. He sees just a monster Shadow is as he's witnessed the massacre of the research facility. He smiles and lets out a chuckle. "You've done it again, Doctor." He finds out that he escaped the facility, so he checks maps outside of it and notices a red blinking dot. For some reason, Shadow had a tracking chip manufactured at him. Seems like G.U.N uses a contingency plan in case something like this happened. But the red blinking dot is moving straight towards Seattle. Stone had no time. He needs to act fast. He leaves to the back door of the building where somebody catches him and asks, "Hey, isn't that place closed down?" Stone immediately pulls out a stun gun and knocks the person out. Stone was really a nice addition to the Sonic universe. He was once just a way for Robotnik to glow about his intelligence, but now Stone has become a more loyal companion to Robotnik, and the influence he has had on Stone definitely changed opposed to civilians. He has become more sadistic, unhinged, more like Robotnik himself, while still keeping his charismatic and energetic personality to him. Right above Seattle, we see Commander Walters' helicopter flying over the city with Sonic held captive with gun soldiers sitting next to him. Sonic is tapping his toes, whining. "Come on, do you really think I would ever work for that egghead?" Then when the gun soldier explained that Eggman hacked to a gun blacksite facility, and just before he was considered dead, he used the code to release the experiment G.U.N had kept hidden for over 50 years. Sonic scoffs. "That doesn't explain how you're so brain dead that you think I had anything to do with that." Another gun soldier said, "Commander Walters made accusations that your fight with Robotnik was his way of masking the release of the experiment." And you seriously believe him? Well, he's our commander. It turns out to believe him. Did that job include not making your own decisions? The gun soldiers stay silent until the pilot says, "That's enough out of you. We have to apprehend every suspect until we find out how to catch that thing that's out there." Sonic then asks, "What exactly did break out?" "Don't play dumb with us. We know you know about Project Shadow." Project Shadow? Sounds like an edgy video game. The gun soldier puts his hand against his mouth, having feel stupid that he revealed this information. "Why are you so worried about it anyways? If you caught it before, you can catch it again, right?" While the conversation was going on, Shadow arrived in Seattle and ran on top of the Needle Tower to survey the area, searching for some way or someone that'll help him reach the space colony Ark. That's when he sees the G.U.N helicopter. That name, G.U.N. The same word written on the body armor of the same soldiers that killed Maria. If anyone was going to help him reach the Ark, it was them. But Shadow knew he wasn't going to get that help willingly. He needed their help by force. Hello? Am I talking to an empty helicopter now? Sonic keeps egging on the soldiers, who have now stayed silent. Sonic keeps annoying them before the pilot says, "That's enough out of you. All you need to know is that he's dangerous and needs to be locked away." Sonic chuckles. "Right, like I'm supposed to believe the guys that are locking up a hedgehog that saved their butts from Robotnik. You don't understand what that thing is." "Oh yeah? Give me one good reason then, I got all day." "Because he was created by a mad scientist, Professor J." That's why explosion breaks through. The explosion knocks the pilot out while destroying the helicopter's back end. Oh boy. Time slows down. We get that slowdown sequence we get in every Sonic movie, and I don't know, maybe My Way by Frank Sinatra could play. Sonic grabs the gun soldier and puts him on his back. As the plane slowly starts to crash, Sonic kicks a chunk of the plane and uses it to hover down to the ground, just barely getting out in time. He lands on the ground and puts the into the gun soldier down. They're hurt, but at least alive. Sonic then asks, "Okay, who wanted to turn this into a Michael Bay movie?" Sonic is then immediately knocked back by a red and yellow streak, until he gets back up and looks behind him, and he sees Shadow. A hedgehog made of black and red fur, with his jet suit and eyes fueled by rage. Sonic asks, "Who are you?" Shadow then says, "Step aside, fake hedgehog. I need those gun agents." Hold on, fake hedgehog? I don't know who you're talking to, but you seem to be the faker here. Shadow then walks right behind Sonic and snatches one of the gun soldiers. "I don't have time for this." Sonic thinks to himself as he looks back. That was so fast. How did he do that? But then he notices just his anger towards the gun soldiers. He couldn't have destroyed the helicopter if it wasn't personal. Sonic calls out, "You're Project Shadow, aren't you?" Shadow stops before he turns back and corrects Sonic. "I am the world's ultimate life form. My mission is to take back what I have lost. All of humanity will pay for what they've caused." But why? I mean, I get that Gun isn't exactly the greatest, but what did they ever do to deserve this? Shadow was silent for a minute, only able to recall Gun shooting Maria. He scoffs. "I need not explain myself to you. My conquest over humanity doesn't concern you, Hedgehog." That's when he pulls out a green gem. It's a Chaos Emerald. "What do you think you're doing with that?" Shadow stays silent. "You don't know how much power that thing holds." He still stays silent. Sonic starts to get annoyed and runs towards him. "Say something, you faker!" Shadow throws the soldiers and instantly walks behind Sonic, landing a devastating back kick to the head. Sonic gets back up and tries spin dashing into him, but all of a sudden Shadow is above him and throws the energy spear at Sonic's head, causing a small explosion. Shadow lands and that's when Sonic catches on. "Hey, it's not a speed, it must be using that Chaos Emerald to warp." All of a sudden a black van pulls up behind Shadow. It's Stone. He rolls down the window screaming, "Shadow, get in, I'm with Robotnik, I'm here to help." That name calls a Shadow, enticed by the stranger. "Well, it was fun while it lasted. Farewell." Shadow used the Chaos Emerald and the emerald emits a large light, and as Sonic tries to run after him, he's already gone. Just what was that? It's like a record player skipping over the record. Just how powerful are the emeralds? And what does Robotnik's lackey want with Shadow? All of these questions could be answered in time because as Sonic tried to chase on the van, several gunships and swords surrounding him, knowing almost immediately about the attack on Walter's helicopter. "Ugh, I don't have time for this," Sonic yells out as he tries chasing after where the van is headed. We now get a chase scene between Gun and Sonic. Helicopters start throwing down explosions, tanks throw EMPs, all trying to slow Sonic down. Sonic gets lost and loses track of where the van went, and is eventually stopped by a massive blockade. Sonic starts to put his hands up. "Just can't catch a break, can I?" As Sonic is cuffed and pulled away once again to Prison Island, Commander Walters talks to one of the generals. "Does our tracking chip still work?" "Yes, sir. Whoever captured him all that time ago must have really had out for him." "Good. Follow it. And don't let us escape the planet. We can't have the Ark restored again." The general then says, "Sir, even if we do find him, there's no way our men will be able to actually capture him." Walter lets out a sigh. "Fine. I know someone who can help." He pulls out his phone and calls someone on the phone. A voice comes through the phone and Walter says, "We need some help." And you can hear the voice respond with, "For the right price, I could." Walter looks at his squad car and looks at his hidden purple gem. "I will pay you handsomely, Agent Rudes." 2 Chaos Emeralds! So I'm really trying to make sure all the 7 Chaos Emeralds can be accounted for, since, Shadow needs to power the Ark. So we can just say that Walters found this while raiding Green Hills, but chose not to tell his team because this will be leveraged for when Rudes comes into play. Obviously he doesn't understand it, but he at least knows expensive, shiny, and important gem for Rudes to want as payment. Back at Green Hills, Knuckles and Tails are sneaking past all the gun agents trying to find Tom. After losing communications with Sonic, they think that Tom might be able to find out what happened. "But why can't they just pummel every single one of them?" Knuckles asks quietly, but Tails says, "That's not the best approach. There are other ways to fight than just blind punching. If we want to find Tom, our best bet is to follow the aides and see if there's a lead to him." Knuckles slams a fist against palm and Tails pulls out a case of his gadgets. He pulls out a yellow spy camera that looks like Tails' head. "What is the point of tiny Tails?" "Just watch and learn, Knuckles." He sends out the spy cam to look around and uses the monitor to look through the spy cam's eyes. He catches some conversations, but only for brief moments. About some guy called Shadow, a space station, trying out some professor's research, but Tails pays very little attention to it. The spy cam caught notice of Tom in handcuffs with some gun soldiers trailing behind him. Perfect, there's Tom. Now we just have to find a way to get there. While Tails plays out its head, Knuckles already runs off and starts pummeling every single gun agent he can. Tails turned around, noticed Knuckles was missing, and looked outside the building while he was hiding in, and found Knuckles attacking all the soldiers. He rolled his eyes. Well, so much for stealth, I guess. He flies off and joins Knuckles as most of the soldiers were already knocked out. What did I say about this not being the best approach? "I took your advice and respectfully threw it in the garbage." As he's throwing a gun soldier in a nearby dumpster, they fight off the rest of the soldiers and rescue Tom. "Guys, you found me!" Tom screams with relief, and then Knuckles asks, "Donut Man, tell us where we can find our friend Sonic." Tom now explains about gun soldiers saying something about Prison Island. "Wait, did you say Prison Island?" Tails asks before pulling up his briefcase. It turns into a computer and he finds any data on the island. "I remember hearing about when me and Sonic got captured, but it's a very faint memory because I was knocked out." He does some more digging until he finds the coordinates. There. A ship created exclusively for the most dangerous criminals Gun can get their hands off of. From what I remember, they never used it until they found Robotnik was alive, planning to use it on him. Tom now exclaims, "Well, that's great, we just bust him out then." Tails then sadly replies, "Looks easier said than done. 100 security gates, armed drones, security cameras throughout every inch of the island. It looks nearly impossible to break in. Knuckles then breaks out of time for his past. When my people were left for dangerous situations, their best instinct for combat was to dig underground and take the enemy for surprise. That's when Tails gets an idea. You're a genius, Knuckles. If we can sneak underwater and enter the ship through the back end, we might be able to reach the prison area where all the inmates are held. Tom asked how they were even going to get underwater, but Tails already had that covered. They enter a garage in Green Hills where Tails secretly set up his workshop, where blueprints, schematics, and gadgets filled the entire room. Filling up the garage with his plane where the word tornado was painted on the side of it. After Sonic told me about how he nearly got drowned, I figured I needed to make some kind of underwater transport. He grabbed a remote and pressed the button that had a little submarine icon on it. The ship started to transform. The legs of the plane turned to rubber floats, and the head of the plane was covered by a glass roof. With this, we should be able to safely traverse underwater 50 meters below sea level. Tom then says, That's great. Have you tested it? Well, not necessarily, but what choice do we have? Thomas says that he comes with, but Tails says it's too dangerous and people of Green Hills need him. He stays, and Knuckles and Tails set off into a plane for Prison Island. Shadow and Stone arrive in the middle of the desert where a large pyramid stands before them, surrounded by gun drones. After Stone explains to Robotnik was going to release him, Shadow tells him that he needs a way to get to the space colony Ark. Never heard of it, Stone says. Shadow laughs at his stupidity. You work for the great Gerald Robotnik and you don't know about the Ark. This throws Stone off. Gerald, my master's name is Ivo Robotnik. But Shadow doesn't believe that. If Shadow was able to escape the Earth, then surely the Professor could. Professor Gerald Robotnik is the greatest scientist who have ever walked the Earth. I assume he'd still be alive and you are working for him. I don't know who you're talking about. Must be the doctor's grandfather or something. This definitely stumps Shadow, but he puts it aside for now as he reaches the giant pyramid. You said you need to go into space? He points at the pyramid. Then that's how. Shadow raises an eyebrow. We're going into space through that pyramid. The doctor discovered a space station inside the pyramid and made it his own. He didn't question why, but he said he always had a dream of building a theme park in outer space. Gerald's descendant really was insane, wasn't he? He was. But that was the best part about him. Oh, one more thing. Stone said before pulling out a small device with the clamp attached to it. We're going to get that chip off of you now. Shadow then asked, what chip? Before Stone poked the back of Shadow's head and the chip was instantly pulled out. It's how I found you, but Gun must have planted this in you right before they locked you up. Shadow then clenches his fist, trying to keep me captive again. Another reason why they must know of my wrath. Stone looks at him, almost frightened, but they continue on. They reach closer to a pyramid, hiding away from the gun zones. How are we going to get past them? Stone asked, but Shadow held the Chaos Emerald and said, just grab a hold of me. Stone grabbed his arm and Shadow closed his eyes. Chaos control! And all the time froze in an instant. Stone looks around, still clinging to Shadow's arm. That's incredible. Shadow then runs straight towards the pyramid with the drones not being alerted, and they stop at the entrance and time resumes normal. After some traversing to the pyramid, Shadow and Stone made it to the main base of operations where a large computer screen was in the middle of the area. Stone did some work on the computer talking about how it takes some time, but he can get the space shuttle working and ready to blast off. He asks what was in the Ark anyways, but Shadow says, my plans for the Ark are my own. You needn't to worry about it. Just know that when we get there, humanity will know my suffering. And then I will thrive in the chaos that is to come. However, Shadow says that in order to finish his goal, he needs all 7 of the Chaos Emeralds. Stone explains he did see Sonic use them, but they were scattered so far they could have been separated throughout the whole world. Fine. You worry about getting the shuttle ready. I'll go look for the rest of the emeralds. He zooms off, leaving Stone alone. Stone starts talking to himself, saying, I don't know what he's planning, Doctor, but I trust you no matter what. I just hope you didn't make the wrong choice. No, what am I talking about? You couldn't have. Stone's voice starts to become more cynical and chuckles. Yes, you are a genius, Doctor. Shadow will rule over the world and get rid of that pest, just like you've always wanted. And it's all thanks to you. Tails and Knuckles are seeing the tornado underneath the sea, slowly approaching a large ship, manned by dozens of gun soldiers. They get right underneath the ship and see a crank that's attached to the ship, obviously an opening to the ship. Knuckles gets out of the plane and uses his strength to open the crank with ease, which Tails and Knuckles can swim through, leaving the tornado right next to the ship. They enter into a transport with scuba gear and oxygen tanks all throughout the entire room. The weakest spot is security considering there are no cameras. Tails pulls out his computer and shows Knuckles the schematics. Okay, so according to my blueprints, the sail area should be just above this. Now all we need is find a way through without triggering the alarm system. Knuckles raises a finger before Tails says, no. But it's faster. Not here. This time, it's my turn. Using the computer, Tails scans both Knuckles and himself to make themselves visible. That didn't do anything. Knuckles points out he still sees his hands and feet. Tails then explains, well, duh, obviously we can still see our own body, but to everyone else, we're completely invisible. They reach the prison area and they see Sonic at the far end of the corridor. However, they notice every prison cell is electronically locked with a keycard scanner. Those bars are too strong to break through. We need to get a keycard. Tails whispers to Knuckles and Knuckles simply nods. They walk quietly past the guard and they notice the keycard in his back pocket. They both follow the guard about to snatch the keycard when another guard calls them over. They quickly move out of the way and the guard turns around and talks to the other one. They both start to talk about how crazy the situation is getting. Dangerous experiment on the black hedgehog, space station carrying a deadly weapon, locked history behind mad scientists. It's getting out of hand, and one of them thinks that Walter is getting too eager at catching his hedgehog. He starts to question that maybe this hunt to lock him up is why he's angry in the first place. The other guard just tells him that they have direct orders and that they can't disobey them. But what if Gun is just another military, hungry for power and control over the world, just fed by their own personal interests and not for keeping the people safe? Don't forget why you're here, soldier. You have a family to protect and food to put on the table, just like the rest of us. What do you think will happen if Gun sees you as a traitor? They're both silent, and in the time, Tails snatches the keycard and runs off with Knuckles. So it's no secret that G.U.N is a fucked organization. And I really want to emphasize it in its Prewrite and how G.U.N is simply doing these things out of their own personal interest and not for the right reasons. Just like how the reason for casting Robotnik's second movie is simply so they can cover themselves up and not get hammered by the press. Even in the first movie before G.U.N was formed, Walters wanted to cover up Robotnik so he didn't get blamed for signing him off as a government official to catch Sonic. And I kinda wanted more than just some nameless soldiers following G.U.N protocol because they genuinely believe that they're right. Conflict of interest is one of my favorite concepts when it comes to leaders and followers or dictatorial groups, so I kinda wanted to have that in Prewrite with G.U.N. There's a loud buzzing noise and all the guards go to lunch. Tails and Knuckles thinks it's the perfect time to let Sonic out. Sonic is tapping his feet, complete, impatient, and angry. Ugh, I need to get out of here and find Shadow. As dangerous as he is, it sounds like these G.U.N guys have done some terrible things to him. The keycard scanner appears when the gate opens. Sonic raises an eyebrow before Tails deactivates a cloaking device and reveals himself to Sonic. Tails! Knuckles, you found me! But how? Sonic says he gives him a hug. Thank Knuckles. He was the one that got us in. Tails says, pointing his thumb back towards Knuckles. Sonic chuckles. Seriously? Knuckles then gets mad. I can do more than just break things, Sonic. The alarms go off and there's a robotic voice saying that there's a prisoner escaping. They all look at the flashing lights. Sonic goes, well, you're gonna have to break some things now because we need to go. G.U.N guards come downstairs and are lined up with guns aimed at the three. They all start to fight through the wave of G.U.N soldiers, but they escape in no time. They reach the main platform of the ship and Tails tells Knuckles and Sonic to follow him. They get to the side of the ship and as G.U.N soldiers keep firing, all three of them jump down. The G.U.N soldiers start to look down, but they are knocked back by a tornado taking off. Always have a plan for everything, huh, buddy? Sonic asks, to which Tails laughs. The best plan needs the best team. They fly off and Knuckles asks where they go now. Sonic fills in about Shadow and how he plans to do something that will destroy all human life. Tails then recalls the conversation from the guard earlier about a space station. That's when Knuckles says that while working for Eggman, he had always muttered to himself in his sleep about space station in the desert, and how he would conquer the world with his big amusement park. Something called Eggman Land, he said. And that's where we're headed. Even if it sounds kinda nuts, Tails exclaims. Yeah, well, that's Eggman for you. Sonic replies and they all share a laugh as they head off into the desert. Back at the space station, someone's just about ready for the shuttle to launch when Shadow arrives, having received 4 more emeralds, making 5 out of the 7. Good to have you back, Shadow, someone greeted. Anything interesting happened? Shadow was silent. He recalls back to when he found a Chaos Emerald in a small village. He was easily ready to take it by force, but that's when an old woman happily gave it to him, saying that it looks like it's important to you. Shadow didn't believe it. This is the same species that killed Maria? Why do they seem so nice? No, it was a menial task for me, is all Shadow said, before Stone explained that the launch should begin within the next hour. So, you never exactly told me how these emeralds would connect to the space station you're headed to, Stone asked. Shadow had thought back to the arc, before the incident. More glimpses of the memory started to form, on Gerald Robotnik. Shadow then explained that Professor Gerald Robotnik had found ancient manuscripts as well, researching energy sources that could hold an ungodly amount of power. Stone tablets that described the Master Emerald, and that it had an energy of unlimited power, able to separate into the 7 emeralds. He deemed it chaos energy. After doing more digging, he was able to almost replicate this energy, but not nearly the same level of strength as the original. But he couldn't contain this by himself. This type of power needed a host, an inhuman vessel capable of withstanding such experimental substances. An ultimate being for the ultimate power. Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow had found an instance of human life where he met a little girl named Maria. She had shown him that there's more to life than being a test subject, even though she had never seen Earth herself. With the success of Shadow, Gerald had found a way to design the Ark to use that power for the most dangerous weapon in the universe, hiding his research from the rest of mankind. Codename the Eclipse Cannon. However, he shortly found out that his replica of Chaos Energy wasn't enough. He would need all 7 of the emeralds, but that was nigh impossible for him. So he created a show instead for if he ever did find the emeralds. Shadow is now using Gerald's research as a tool to get revenge on all of those who wronged him. Humanity itself. Now, this is something I've been going back and forth on very heavily on, that being Shadow and Gerald's history. After the events of Sonic 2, it is virtually impossible to say that the emerald is something that anyone could have gotten. It was made very clear that the Master Emerald is something that has been guarded for thousands of years, so having Gerald in possession of the emerald was never an option. So, I instead used a way to show just how much Gerald has thought ahead. He had thought out every contingency plan for his plan to use the Eclipse Cannon to wipe out humanity. He knew he couldn't achieve the emeralds right away, so he spent the rest of his days trying to find out just how he could achieve that. I also wanted to use this to hammer in just how defined Shadow's goals are. He isn't just following the legacy of his professor or helping somebody else to achieve their goals. These are his goals and his choice alone. He's just using tools he already knows to help accomplish that goal. In order for Shadow to fully grow from his evil intentions, his motivations and reasons for getting to that initial goal must be his own. Stone couldn't help but laugh out loud at this idea. This is perfect. Once we have the last emeralds, we can use the machine to dominate the world. Do you really think it'll be that easy? A sudden voice came from atop the pyramid, shocking both Shadow and Stone as they looked up. A mysterious figure flew down from the pyramid, revealing a bat creature with the most grotesque looking... Okay, real time. Revealing a bat creature with pink wings and skin-tight clothes and boots as smooth jazz plays as she enters. You'd think it's just as simple as popping in powerful jewels to a death machine, but what would happen if that can of yours had a bad reaction to it? Stone pulled out his gun and pointed at the creature. And just why should we trust you? Stone asked. Then the creature flew up and revealed a purple emerald. Well, I may not look like much, but I'm one for all the world's most precious jewels. Sorry to interrupt, boys, but my name is Ruse the Bat. Shadow then proceeded to question her. How did you take possession of the emerald? I stole it for gun. They were hiding away, but I managed to sneak right past them. Shadow looked at her, completely untrusting of her. I'm here to help. If you don't want that thing blow your face, you're gonna need me on that station. And what's it for us? Stone asked. I might be able to tell you where to find that last emerald, if you can agree to my deal. Shadow stepped closer to Ruse. Fool. I don't need your help to find the last emerald. I've been successful without you. Are you sure about that? Even if I know that's with a little fox boy? And a blue hedgehog? Shadow's eyes start to widen, before letting out a smirk. We cut back to Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic on a tornado still approaching the desert. They start to talk about what they should do once they reach Space Station. Tails then explains. Well, after invading the island, I managed to collect some data on Space Colony Arc. There was a weapon that was secretly hidden inside the facility, but the deposit was shut down over 50 years ago. But from my assumption, it looks as though this Shadow guy needs to reactivate it using all 7 emeralds, so... He pulled out a yellow Chaos Emerald from under the seat, showing it to Knuckles and Sonic. Knuckles starts to freak out. Did you not learn for the last time how dangerous that is? Don't worry, I'm not as power hungry as everyone else. But I fooled you, didn't I? This isn't actually the real emerald. Sonic immediately got confused and wanted Tails to explain. Tails said that he found the emerald during one of their beatdowns with robotics robots and studied further. He was able to create a replica of the emerald. It's definitely not as powerful, but the properties of Wavelength are still there. I made it to see if I could, but now, if we can use it for the cannon, then the fake ones can counteract with the other emeralds. Sonic complies and Tails nods head. Knuckles then asks, just what is it about this Shadow that makes him want to destroy the humans? Sonic recalls back to their encounter, how he is so angry at Gun for what they did that he is taking out on everyone else. I don't know, but I think he just has the wrong idea. Tails looks back at Sonic. So, what are we gonna do once we find him? Sonic stays silent for a minute. Not sure, but there's gotta be some way to convince him that not all humans are terrible. They continue to fly to the desert. There, that's where the spaceship is hiding. Knuckles says as he points towards a large pyramid. He lands far enough where he won't be detected. Right, we better hurry then. Who knows how long it'll be before it take off? Sonic says before Knuckles pulls out the Master Emerald, and we will need this. Why did you even bring that with you? Sonic questions, but Knuckles says that it will always stay with him no matter what. He can't have this fall into the wrong hands. As both Knuckles and Sonic trail off, Tails begins to follow until he stops. He has the fake emerald, but he looks at the tornado. He opens up the secret compartment under the seat to reveal the real emerald with him. He has a feeling that something terrible might happen. Just in case, Tails says to himself before racing off with both the fake and real emerald. At this point, you're probably wondering where everyone is hiding all these emeralds. Well, this is Sonic and it can't be a Sonic movie without the hammer space. Yep. We cut back to the space shuttle and Ruse, Stone, and Shadow are standing in front of a large space shuttle ready to launch at any minute. So you said you had a plan of luring the Hedgehog here, Shadow says. Ruse then tells them, call me a jet shoes. If they receive the information I laid out for them, then they should be getting it any minute now. Shadow raises an eyebrow before Stone urgently warns Shadow that the shuttle is about to take off and that they need to act quickly. Shadow then hears loud crashing and breaking of doors throughout the whole pyramid. Sounds like that's our cue. Let them follow us on the arc. As soon as we're there, we'll snatch the last emerald from them, Voods explains. Shadow then chuckles. Absolutely brilliant. You're not as incompetent as I thought you were. Voods smiles and they aboard the shuttle. A countdown that begins and the pyramid starts to open up. It shocks all the surrounding tourists and they start recording, taking photos as the ship is ready to launch. We can see Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles running as fast as they can to the shuttle. Oh no, it's taking off! Sonic yells as he sees the ship emitting smoke and flames from the bottom. There's no time, grab on! Knuckles yells as they're all running. Sonic and Tails hold on to Knuckles hesitantly. Knuckles leaps high in the air and throws both of them straight to the shuttle, with both Tails and Sonic screaming in fear. Knuckles trails behind by gliding and lands outside his ship. Sonic throws up a little bit of his mouth. Ugh, promise we will never do that again. I can make no such promises. All three of them jump inside a small compartment of the ship, and finally, the spaceship takes off. It's finally time to go to the space colony arc. Deep space, far above the Earth's atmosphere, lies above a terrifying space station that had secretly held the most dangerous weapon. Despite never being used and the project being shut down, it was Shadow's goal to reactivate it. Once they all arrived in the spaceport for the arc, Shadow looked around. Nothing had changed since the last time he was here. How long had it even been? He couldn't recall. All he could do was be reminded of that horrible moment where everything that mattered to him had been taken from him. By humans. Luz notices blank stare into the arc and looks stone. Just what's up with them? I don't know, but from the looks of it, he's had a pretty nasty history with this place in G.U.N. It's probably why he wants his cannon reactivated. Stone then smiles, and I can't wait to watch. Stone runs off with Shadow as they head to the cannon, but Luz stares at Shadow, curious about him. Just what does G.U.N have to do with Shadow? She wasn't told details of why she was part of the mission, just to get all the emeralds to apprehend Shadow. She then pulls out a communicator and puts it on her wrist. This is Voods. Do you copy? Voods whispers before Walters can be heard from the device. Yes. I'm aboard the space colony now. I'll have a full report for you shortly. Walters then asks what she plans to do on catching Shadow. Voods pulls out the special restraining bolts that G.U.N made last second for her. Don't worry about little old me now. I can handle him just fine. She ends the communication and meets up with Shadow and Stone. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles break out of the shuttle and peek see if everyone's gone. They walk out and see the space station in its entirety. Wow, this place sure is barren, huh? Sonic says he's walking around looking at the arc. Well, like I said, this place hasn't been used in 50 years. So how do we plan on getting the fake emerald without being detected? Knuckles asks the two. Sonic then points to himself. Already got that covered. When the coast's clear, I'll slam dunk that emerald right in there. Tails is visibly confused by this. Sonic? You don't even know where the cannon's at. Oh, right. Tails then sighs before explaining what the plan should be. Since Knuckles has a mass emerald, he can use the connection between the mass emerald and the chaos emerald to use as a radar of some sorts to find the cannon. Tails will be close by, hacking through any locked doors and helping Knuckles navigate through so they can take the quietest route possible. Sonic, while being the most vital, will hide out until they find the cannon, and Sonic will use his super speed to throw the fake emerald into the cannon without anyone stopping him. What, so I just gotta be waiting here while you can do all the cool stuff? Sonic complains before Tails says that Sonic is the most important with the fake emerald. Being the fastest also means being patient. Do not worry, friend Sonic. We will be there faster than my usual training regimen. And Knuckles runs off with the mass emerald without explaining. Tails gives Sonic the fake emerald and flies off with all his gadgets, and Sonic has just to sit and wait. Fine. I'm fine. I can do that. That's fine. Sonic tells himself before immediately looping around the spaceport 100 times. This might take a while. Shadow, Stone, and Voods all go through the arc heading towards the cannon. It should be past this room, Shadow says before opening the door. The door opens and Shadow staggers for a moment. The large windows staring out into the earth. The escape pod sitting next to a control panel. The disgusting old stained blood still tainted on the floor. What's the matter with you? Stone asks, but the voice is muffled to Shadow as his head starts spinning out of control, completely unable to grasp himself back to reality. His memories start to become more elusive, more tainted, only able to hear Maria's cry, the gunshots, seeing Maria fall to the ground. He's back, at the place where Maria died. Shadow, Voods says that he touches his shoulder. Shadow is able to regain himself, looking down at the floor. I'm fine. Stone and Voods then continue in the room, but Shadow takes a moment before following. You said you had a way of testing to see if the emeralds are stable enough to operate with the cannon. Shadow asked before staring off into a window looking down the planet. That's right, but it might take me some time. I'll take those emeralds off your hands if that's alright. Shadow pulls out the emeralds and lays them out on the floor. Just take them, and do what you need to do. Shadow's mind is completely somewhere else. So, I can take a hint and say you aren't too fond of G.U.N, huh? Shadow then twists his eyes, being snapped back to reality, seeing that Rude's talking to him. He then abruptly says, G.U.N is everything that is wrong with humans. Incompetent, uncaring, selfish, as he clenches his fist in anger. Yeah, well, take it from a girl that gets around a lot. Not all humans are completely bad. I think it is being a little unfair. Don't you talk to me about fair! Rude's head flinched out of instinct and was reaching for the handcuffs he was hidden. But then, Shadow calmed down and continued to stare off, not saying a word. Rude moves her hand away from the restraints. Rude starts to question if he's really the villain G.U.N makes him out to be. Before she heads off to the control station, she tells Shadow, hey, just try being a little more helpful, yeah? Anyone can dream, right? She heads off into the control station where the cannon is held, along with the emeralds. What Rude said to Shadow before she left, it brings up another memory of a time he could dream. Shadow, what do you think it's like down there on Earth? Shadow then ponders on the idea. I am unsure. I was told that I was merely brought into existence to test the intelligence of the professor, so I have almost no reason to think about it. Maria looks at Shadow while clenching her fist. Don't say that, Shadow. There's always a reason to be happy and have dreams. Don't tell me you don't have any dreams. Shadow then smirks. No, but you're the only reason I can be happy. See? So if you can be happy now, then just think about how happy you can be on Earth with other humans. And hopefully all humans are nice to me too, and that one day we'll see it all together. Shadow looks at Maria. Maybe. It cuts back to how Shadow sees humanity now. Hopeless, jaded, and enraged at just how wrong he was. And sad at how Maria was wrong too. Stone, while being silent the whole time, walks up to Shadow, who is blankly staring out space. Listen, it will all be over soon. Once we have that arc powered up, we will be able to finally accomplish our mission of complete world domination. Stone laughs maniacally, but Shadow doesn't even bother engaging. All we need is that bat to finish testing those emeralds, and for that pest to bring us our last emerald for us. Stone walks off while making robotic noises to himself, similar to his role model's Quark. As Shadow is alone, he gazes off into the control room where Rude is at. There's something that's not quite right about her. Needing the emeralds to herself, her way of luring Sonic into the arc. She clearly is up to something. Tails and Knuckles continue to make their way through the space station, losing breath by every door they open. You think that there would be an easier way? Tails stops to catch his breath. To get to this place, but this space station is massive. Knuckles then pats Tails back. Come now, Fox. The mass emerald connection is getting stronger. We must be getting close. Knuckles runs off with Tails shutting behind, opening more doors and contrives to get to the space station. Climbing up and down walls, cutting through roofs to shortcut their way through, it was a rough and long adventure. But alas, they made it. They both hide behind the wall leading to the door. Okay, the control room should be just behind this door. Tails whispers to Knuckles before asking if he's ready. Knuckles punches his fists together, signaling that he's ready to get his hands dirty. Tails hacks the door open, revealing Stone, in his cold black suit with his high-tech gun and his buzzbots they brought along guarding him. Hello! Dr. Stone is in the house! In the midst of Stone's attack on Knuckles and Tails, Rude has now brought back 6 of the 7 emeralds needed to get back to G.U.N so they could lock away in their facility. Rude's contacts G.U.N on her wristwatch, updating them on her mission. I knew I can count on you, Agent Rude. Now just apprehend Shadow, we'll take it from here. Rude then begins to question these orders. Come on now, I already got most of the emeralds. What good would an angry lab rat do for you? It is of G.U.N's utmost interest that it will be captured and locked away, as it should be. Hey, if I didn't know any better, I think it's just doing this for the public to lay off your backs. Damn it, Rude, there's no time for a negotiation. Apprehend the subject or I'm nullifying your contract and docking your payment. The commander cuts the transmission and Rude grunts to herself, smacking her hand against her head. That's when the camera pans behind Rude to reveal Shadow, standing right behind her. Boiling with rage, Shadow's eyes start to glow a bright bloodlust red, with lightning surging through his body. Traitor! He screams out, before Rude turns around and starts to step back. Rude tries to defend herself, but Shadow refuses to listen. I knew you had some ulterior motive. You're a secret agent working for G.U.N in that mission to capture me. Rude starts to sweat, stepping even further back, hitting the machine where the emeralds were held. Now hold on, Shadow. I wasn't going to capture you. I just needed the emeralds, and then... Shadow zips right to Rude, choking her by the neck. And what makes you think I should trust you? You've manipulated my thoughts and my trust in humans just to let my guard down. Rude, barely able to breathe, utters, just give me another chance. Shadow's eyes widen, remembering more about what happened just before he was sent to Earth. What Maria said. Give them a chance to be happy. Shadow starts to stagger, letting Roots go. He clasps his hand over his head, starting to lose his focus. Give them a chance? Why would he? Humans killed the only friends Shadow's ever known. But are they all like this? I think it's safe to say that all these Sonic characters are really no different from people in this universe. They all have their own struggles, own goals, sense of awareness, and the ability to grow. And I feel like that's been proven by this line for Sonic 1.
That little alien knew more about being human than you ever will.
These characters, despite their unnatural and sometimes freak-like appearances, that they are just humans like everyone else. And that's what G.U.N is refusing to believe when looking at Shadow. Yes, he is a lab experiment created by a mad scientist, but through that troubled past, he still had found meaning to life and found a true connection with Maria. A friendship, just like any other human would. Shadow turns around and closes his eyes, as Roots kneeled to the ground, recovering her breath. Just stay out of my way, is all Shadow could say before walking off. While all this happened, Sonic received a distress signal from Tails, where all he could say was, Sonic, it's Stone, I need you. Before the transmission cut out, Sonic then rushes through the space colony, running faster than he has ever before. His speed alone is enough to tear through all the walls and gates that were blocking his path. In a matter of minutes, he has reached the observation room. Tails, are you... Don't take another step, Hedgehog, or you have to pick up the pieces of your friend. Stone has Tails at gunpoint, with Knuckles being surrounded by dozens of buzzbots. Sonic looks at Tails, and Tails nods at him. Okay, I know what you want. Sonic pulls out the fake emerald. It's this, right? That's all you want? Stone frantically says, Yes, give it to me now! Sonic then just grins, almost mocking Stone as he walks forward. Wow, looks like you're following Robotnik's footsteps, huh? Let me know how that works for you in about 10 seconds. He steps in the middle of the observation room, and Stone chuckles under his breath. That's when a glass case surrounds Sonic. It was all a trap. Stone is laughing like a complete lunatic. You're such an idiot. Do you think I'd fall for that fake emerald? Sonic, shocked by his information, looks at Tails. Buddy? What is he talking about? Tails painfully closes his eyes, as Stone pulls out the real Chaos Emerald. I'm sorry, Sonic. He said that he would kill Knuckles if I didn't. Tails. That annoying, gullible heart of his got the better of him. And now, time to follow the Doctor's legacy once and for all! That's when Knuckles starts to get mad. Really mad. He screams out as red ore surrounds his body. Slamming his fist to the ground, he pushes back all the Buzzoids surrounding him. Enough of this! Sonic, I will rescue you! He rushes to Sonic's aid, using all of his strength to break the glass, but it's no use. This isn't just a glass case. It's a space pod. Not even Knuckles' strength can break through it. Knuckles then turns to Stone with fire in his eyes. Before Stone quickly rushes him, hits a button before Knuckles can reach him. Sonic is then blasted off into space. Tails and Knuckles cry out his name, and then an explosion occurs, coming from Sonic's pod. Shadow, who'd been watching from a far distance, looked at the explosion. It seems he wasn't all that special after all. What a shame. Tails begins to tear up, having to watch his friend be killed. Tails then smacks Stone away from the control panel using his tails, before Stone commands the Buzzoid to start opening fire. That's when Tails pulls out a gadget and attaches it to his wrist. Sorry, Stone, but just like Robotnik, he presses some buttons and the red eyes of the robot start turning a bright yellow, aiming at Stone. Your plan never ends well. Stone can't help but chuckle. You think this changes anything? Your friend is gone, there's nothing you can do. Tails is silent for a brief moment before he looks at the emerald that Stone is holding onto. Maybe not, but I might need that emerald back. He goes for the emerald, but Shadow comes rushing towards Tails and making sure that he gets that emerald. Tails turns and sees him coming for an attack, but Knuckles intercepts, slamming Shadow against the panel. You want that emerald? Knuckles asks, slamming his fists together. You're going to have to get through me first. Not a problem, Shadow remarks, lunging at Knuckles as they begin to clash against one another. Knuckles has the durability to handle Shadow's punches, but Shadow is just way too unpredictable. Shadow is constantly teleporting all around Knuckles, firing off his chaos energy. He's barely able to land a single blow. Knuckles then closes his eyes and thinks back to what Tails has been telling him. There are other ways to fight other than just blindly punching. Knuckles listens for Shadow when he teleports, where he's going. He hears a noise coming from behind, and Knuckles, with all of his strength, lands a fearsome punch against Shadow, who attempts to attack him from behind. This sends Shadow halfway across the room. Shadow slowly gets back up, severely hurt by that single punch, but Shadow shows no weakness as he scoffs. Cheap shot. I am a warrior of the greatest tribe in the galaxy. Hundreds of years my tribe has learned to adapt and conquer. And you are no exception for me. Knuckles then lunges at Shadow before Shadow pulls out a green emerald. Chaos control! He yells out, freezing time indefinitely. Knuckles is up in the air, perfectly still, and Shadow casually walks behind him. He jumps up and slams his body into the ground with his fist, returning to normal. Knuckles coughs up blood, weakened by all the blows he's taken. Shadow's about to finish him off until a surge of white light amidst the room, blinding everyone. The light clears up, and it's Sonic! He lands perfectly to the floor, having to mysteriously survive the explosion. No. That can't be, Stone says in awe while still being surrounded by the reprogrammed Buzz droids. Tails lets out a relieved smile. Sonic, you're alive! Shadow raised an eyebrow. How can that be? Sonic pulls out the fake emerald and flips it in the air before grabbing it. Well, let's rewind a little. Sonic is freaking out, totally unsure of what to do, before he looks at the emerald. The gem that is only limited by your imagination. It has the same properties, huh? Maybe if I can... He grabs the emerald and focuses on the arc, having his eyes closed, envisioning where he wants to go. Chaos control! He yells out and is then instantly teleported. But what I don't know is that I had no idea what I was doing. Sonic narrates as he's sent to somewhere else completely different in the arc, a place he's never been. Okay, you got to Sonic. One more time. He talks to himself before he uses the gun, and once again, ending him somewhere completely different, in some extremely long hallway in the space station resembling a racetrack. Who would even put this here? Sonic then sighs to himself. This might take a while, and fast forward back to the present. Look, the point being I'm here and ready to take back the emeralds. Shadow then compliments Sonic. Well, I'll bite. It is impressive how you survived using a fake emerald. But you know I can't let you live. Sonic takes a step forward. I know, but you have to listen to me. Gun isn't the rest of humanity. There are genuine good people who don't want to hurt you. You can have a better life on Earth, but you have to stop the cannon from firing. Shadow is content by this. He thinks about it. The things he experienced. From that one woman from the village, to even Rudes, who's constantly been around humans. Is all they need is another chance? But, even still... My life was already stolen from me. Shadow's lightning emerges from his body and Sonic begins to power up as well. He readies himself. And it's time for their final showdown. Shadow and Sonic begin to fight throughout the entire space station. They fight through every corridor, every room, and neither of them seems to be getting the upper hand. They crash into a large room of the Ark, with the space station's core just above them. Sonic then screams out, I know Gun has done some bad things, but you can't have them speak for all humans. They clash more before Shadow angrily responds. Stop talking to me like you know what I've been through. You have no idea what they have taken away from me. Shadow blasts Sonic away, but he's able to recover himself. If you would just talk to me, maybe I can understand. Shadow, with his blood boiling and having to remember everything, screams out, Humans have taken everything from me. The friend I've only ever had. The one who has taught me that I'm not to experiment, but humans who are fed by their own arrogance. And killed her, locking me away on Earth. And I won't let them lock me away again! He charges back at Sonic, and they blitz around the Ark more before they pace back themselves to their observation room. But I do know what it's like, Sonic argues as they stop fighting. Shadow is still engulfed in lightning and anger. Sonic, however, starts to inch closer. I know what it's like, losing everything you care about. And you think that those same people are all terrible, but that's never true. See that knucklehead? He was a part of the same tribe that took everything away from me. My home, my guardian. But that's when I realized that not everyone is terrible. He decided to change to become better. He started out trying to kill me, but now he's one of my best buds. Sonic stops right in front of Shadow, and Shadow begins to calm down a bit. And that's because I gave him a chance to have a better life, to be happy. And I'm giving you that chance too. The same way humans deserve another chance from you. Shadow is speechless. His eyes. They're the same eyes Maria looked at Shadow. Hopeful, kind, adventurous. His lightning fades and he takes a deep breath. And that's when he remembers. Shadow, for all the people on the Earth, give them a chance to be happy and live a better life. Show them that they can be better than who you're seeing now. And hopefully, they can make you smile the same way you have made me smile. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog. Just Who are you anyways? Sonic chuckles. I'm just a guy who loves adventuring with friends. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Shadow, for the first time in over 50 years, smiles. I guess humans might not be so bad after all. There are a lot of ways you can portray this character. You can make it where he follows the path of someone until he finds his own path. You can make it where he is vengeful until he's realized that his way of thinking doesn't work. Or you can have a complete edgelord that uses guns and fights with an evil alien army. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh fuck, he just killed Sonic. Holy shit, this guy's peak character. And all those are fun. Well, maybe not the last part. But I think in the grand sense of what the trilogy has shown us, that there is more under the surface. There isn't just a blue hedgehog running around making quippy lines and beating the bad guys. There's some real depth behind these characters, and not all of them are going to have just one way of thinking. Knuckles in the second movie introduced that Sonic characters aren't just one-noted. He was prideful and stood with his tribal instincts, but that led to genuine confusion and questioning morality. Well, I kinda wanna expand that here, but in a much darker sense. You have this lab rat created solely out of scientific curiosity, who found purpose in life, only for that reason of finding purpose to be taken away. Now he's completely lost and focused solely on revenge. But he was never given many chances to see things from a more positive perspective. And it's not until Shadow sees this kind-hearted, truly honest person for Shadow to see that not all humans are bad. If Maria can be pure heart, then maybe other people can too. As long as they're given a chance. What? What's that? Oh shit! Oh fuck, I forgot about the cannons and the emeralds! Shadow grunts as he looks away. The Eclipse Cannon. It's been activated! Tails, Knuckles, and Voos all rush into the observation room. Tails apologizes. He snuck past us while you guys were fighting. Voos scratches her head. I knew I should have snatched the emeralds while I had the chance. Knuckles then points to blame the new person. That is correct. Blame this new bat lady who I've never seen. Hey, don't get started with me, boy, unless you want me to snatch that big emerald you've been hauling around. The master emerald is not to be touched by anyone except myself. The argument was cut off by a maddened Stone. Completely gone insane and controlled by power and influence of Robotnik. He laughs hysterically. You are all fools! Your arrogance has allowed me to power the Doctor's legacy. The Eclipse Cannon! They all stare at Stone, whose posture has changed to resemble Robotnik. With this, I will control the world! And he just keeps laughing with nobody left to stop him. But all of a sudden, the sirens stop. Everything goes silent. Stone even stops laughing to observe what happened. What? What happened to my cannon? Stone asks. Everything stays silent until the ground begins to shake. There's tremors throughout the whole space colony. That doesn't feel like a futuristic space laser going off to me. Sonic actually is trying to keep his balance. Tails looks at the observation room and sees something odd. Earth is somehow moving closer. Guys, you may want to take a look at this. They all huddle towards the window and see the Earth weirdly getting closer. It's Earth. Is it moving? Sonic questions, having no idea the Earth could even move. It's not the Earth that's getting closer, Tails says before Stone continues, shocked by the revelation. It's the Ark. The Ark is crashing towards the planet. Knuckles raised a fist. Explain yourself, student of Robotnik. Whoa, hey, I have nothing to do with it. I thought the laser would just damage himself so I could roll the planet. Really? You thought a space laser, which you knew was supposed to be the deadliest weapon, would just leave a scratch on the planet? Sonic pointed out before Shadow remarked. Truly an incompetent idea. Look, the point being, this is something else. Luz then calls out to everyone once he notices a blinking light on the control panel. Hey, come check this out. They all go to Luz as he pulls up a video feed of Gerald Robotnik, cuffed against a wall with aim lights pointing towards him. Then, down on Earth, we can see the same footage being shown throughout the entire planet, from the billboards of Seattle to the phone screens of Green Hills. Professor, Shadow whispers to himself as the footage is playing Gerald's final message. On the day of his execution. People of Earth, I have now seen that humans are the cause of our downfall, our poverty, our wars, our deaths. This flawed government has shown me that humanity is beyond preserving. That all happened when my beloved granddaughter, Maria, was killed by the same people that I swore to protect. She meant everything to me, and I went mad, filled with the intent to avenge her death. All because they wanted to shut down my projects, my ultimate life form, who could have revolutionized human technology, all because they were afraid I could be dangerous. My life's goal was now to destroy Earth, using the 7 Chaos Emeralds. According to my calculations, by the time this message is received, the Ark should collide within 15 minutes and 37 seconds from now. You will all soon feel my wrath and frustration at the world when I rain upon you my Eclipse Cannon! Is there anything else you want to say? No, that should be all. Alright man, open fire! And the transmission cuts off. Just what the heck is going on? Who is that old man? And who's that Maria girl? Sonic asks, raising your fist in frustration and confusion. Shadow then looks down as he explains. That's Gerald Robotnik, an ancestor of who you might know as Ivo Robotnik. He was the greatest scientist the world has ever known. Now his genius being used to crash the Ark towards Earth, because Maria, the only friend I've ever known, was killed by G.U.N when they came to shut down the professor's experiments. To shut me down. Shadow, Sonic says abruptly. None of it matters now. There's no way we can stop the Ark. Soon, all of us will be killed, along with the planet. Some then frantically begins to panic. There has to be a way, right? You guys have always seemed to sneak past and foil me and the Doctor's plan, so surely you can... They all shake their head in disagreement and hopelessness. Knuckles then coughs, directing their attention to him. If I may interject, you're forgetting the most important power we have. Knuckles pulls out the Master Emerald, and Sonic gets the idea right away. Oh, right, I can turn that big glowy yellow form. Knuckles shakes his head. That won't be enough. Your power alone is insufficient. Knuckles points to Shadow. They all look at Shadow as Tails points out. That could work. His connection to the Chaos Emeralds is strong, so with your combined power, you should be able to stop the Ark from colliding. Shadow turns back, closing his fists. I can't. I've caused too much harm. Sonic then runs in front of Shadow. Hey, you may have done some bad, but you can make up for it. Right now. You're not like those crummy gun agents. You can be better and do some good for the world. Shadow thinks about it. And he's right. This is what Shadow promised Maria. And this is his only way to keep that promise. Okay, let's give it a try. Sonic jumps for joy. Haha, yes, I knew you'd turn around. Stone then asks, but how are you going to transform if we can't access the Chaos Emeralds? Knuckles then reprimands him. Idiotic! You're forgetting that the Chaos Emerald's power comes from the Master Emerald. This will do just fine. Right, sorry. Sonic and Shadow stand with Knuckles in front of the Master Emerald. Knuckles yells out, Master Emerald, unifier of the Chaos, hear me now. Shadow and Sonic clasp their hands against each other. And then, Knuckles starts chanting something. An ancient chant conjured by the Echidna tribe to fully utilize the Emerald's power. The servers are the 7 Chaos. Chaos is power. Power enriched by the heart. Sonic and Shadow start to float in the air, and they begin to glow a bright tint. The music starts to swell, and their fur begins to glow a bright yellow, before the bright yellow engulfs the room. Shadow and Sonic have now fully transformed. Their powerful energy surrounds their whole body, and their fur has completely turned to a strong yellow color. They both look down at everyone. Good luck, Tails says, and then Rose continues, to both of you. Shadow looks to his right and sees a vision of Maria, his purest memory of her, just simply smiling and nodding, proud of who he has become. Shadow smiles and nods, and Sonic and Shadow blast off at insane speed as I Need a Hero is blasting in the background. They break out of the Ark, flying through outer space. They reach the front of the Ark as it's hurling towards Earth at an alarming rate. It will be mere minutes until the Ark reaches Earth. There's no time left. They both look at each other and nod as they race towards the Ark. They use their brute strength to try and push back the Ark. With all their strength, they use their bodies to slow it down, but it doesn't work. The velocity of the Ark is just too fast. There's no way pushing it back would do anything. They zoom backwards, resetting their positions. Shadow fires off a much stronger Chaos Blast right at the Ark, leaving a long energy beam heading towards the Ark. His new form with his powerful Chaos energy might stop it, but no, it still doesn't work. They try to slow it down several times, creating tornadoes around it, but nothing seems possible. Ugh, there's nothing slowing it down, it's no use. Sonic becomes frustrated before Shadow gets an idea. Then we'll slow it down instead. Let's use Chaos Control. Sonic nods and they both fire themselves at the Ark. You ready, Shadow? Sonic screams out. Ready as I'll ever be. They're speeding right towards the Ark, laying off a fiery trail behind them. Chaos Control! They both scream out, and the music starts to fade as time stops. The Ark has momentarily slowed down, but Chaos Control can't hold for long. With their blast off, they're able to keep pushing back the Ark, but Sonic's strength begins to waver. I can't hold this for much longer. Your body isn't as used to Chaos energy as I am, Shadow points out. He looks at Sonic, someone who he can now call a friend, someone who has shown him that humans deserve another chance. He knows what he must do. As Sonic's arms begin to tire and he starts to blink back to his regular blue fur, Shadow tells Sonic, Sonic, make sure humans keep living a happy life. Sonic looks at Shadow. No, he can't be. What are you doing? Shadow grabs Sonic and throws him back inside the Ark. Shadow, don't do this. Let's go in the garden. You'll find something waiting right there where you left it, lying upside down. When you finally find it, you'll see how it's faded, the undecided lighter. When you turn it around, everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes ever so slightly, daily and nightly, in little ways when everything stays. Maria, this is what you wanted, right? The promise I made to you. Everyone on Earth, while not be able to see much, have seen that the Ark is no longer moving towards the planet. Everyone claps and cheers and jumps for joy at the hero that saved them all, whoever that may be. Gun soldiers throw down their guns and vests at Commander Walters, as Walter argues, You can't do this. I pay for everything you own. You need me. And the soldier says, we need a leader, not a coward. Before they all walk off and Walters is left alone. He gets a call from the president. Yes, Mr. President, good to hear. All that can be heard is obscenities and screaming for the phone. No, this isn't me. Gun had no What do you mean you're firing me? Everyone stares off at the window, knowing what Shadow has done for them. They're all completely silent, thrown off by the sacrifice he made. It's not some big wall of talking about how they'll change or what happened. It is left at a very somber tone, remaining silent in honor of Shadow's sacrifice. Selden thinks about everything that happened, and the history behind Gerald. Doctor, was this really your grandfather? He said to himself in fear of not just Gerald, but himself as well. What he tried to do. Sonic is at the doorway of the observation room talking to himself. He really was the ultimate life form, and a hero that no one will know about. Everyone starts to walk out of the observation room, with Tails being the last to walk. He turns to Sonic. Are you okay? Yeah, I'll be fine. He puts out a pretty convincing smile. Come on, buddy, let's go home and get some chili dogs. Tails chuckles and pats Sonic on the shoulder before running off. Sonic looks back and looks at the planet below. Sayonara, shouted the Hedgehog, and he walks away. And that was my pre-write for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I hope I didn't forget anything.
Wait a minute!
Oh, that's right, silly me. We need the post-credit scene, because not a movie without a post-credit scene, am I right? We open back up to Green Hills, where destroyed banners can be seen throughout the entire town. Tommy is about to destroy the last one, and Maddie is joined with them. They're all severely worn out and bruised. Maddie looks at Tom and asks just how many are going to come. I don't know, but this is something much bigger than some leftover scraps of Robotnik. There shouldn't be this many. Wade then pats Tom behind the back, completely clean and unharmed. It's okay, Tom. We're with you no matter what. Wade? Where did you come from? Tom asks, looking back at him. I was, hiding in my garage. Tom looks at him angrily before Maddie pulls him back. But seriously, just where are these things coming from? The camera pans out to a forest a short distance away. Amidst the trees, every type of badnik starts coming out from beneath the ground, revealing an underground layer. A dingy, messy, unprofessional layer with wires hanging, tools broken, and not much resources left. A TV screen shows the news is informing the planet that the Ark has stopped colliding with the Earth and everyone is now safe. A figure is seen in front of the TV before he turns around. It's Robotnik. Ivo Robotnik. Well, it looks like Operation Doctor for a day has utterly failed. So it had one job, and that was to use Shadow to help destroy the Hedgehog, but I guess my plans have always turned for the worst when it comes to a meddling pest. Robotnik is silent for a moment. Still, I thought my grandfather was better than this. My hero wanted to destroy the planet. Robotnik sniffles where he continues. No matter! He makes his robotic noise as he moves throughout the base. I have other matters to attend to. Starting with you. Isn't that right? A blue metallic figure is shown, similar to Sonic. cold and dead before its eyes start to turn a bright and fearsome red, letting out a deep robotic cry. Metal Sonic. It's no secret that I love what this series has put out. I mean, I wouldn't have written over 14,000 words with 24 pages about it if I didn't. Sonic 2 has almost completely brought back Sonic to its roots, to what it was before the dark times. It can be a very fun franchise with some very mature storytelling, and it became even more mature when Shadow was introduced. And I love Sonic Adventure 2, but I feel like there was something that should have been changed. Shadow's motivation to feel like his own, there's obvious storytelling issues, and overall some story elements felt tailored to just a video game format. That's why I didn't include a 50-ton fucking lizard that was a prototype for a 5-foot hedgehog. I wanted to have a story that was similar to SA2, but in a much more grounded sense that fit the environment for a film and this film series. And I think I did that pretty well for my first time ever doing something like this. Obviously this isn't perfect. I went back and forth on a lot of decisions I made, and maybe some things could be cut out. But hey, feel free to disagree with anything I've laid out with this story. And Metal Sonic feels a little more fair to introduce for his next movie instead of Chaos, because now that we've seen multiple confused antagonists who just need to be pushed in the right direction, I think it'd be a fun idea if we saw an antagonist who didn't listen to reason. Something that couldn't be convinced, to see what Sonic would do about it, to challenge his ability to fight instead of his ability to help others. Maybe I'll do something like this in the future, but for now, this has been a fun experience with you all. And hopefully this won't be completely cancelled by Twitter. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been an insane project that I've never thought I could do before, and I am so proud of it. If you liked the video, be sure to comment what you thought about the video or if I should do something like this in the future. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the little notification bell so you get notified of future content releases. It helps out the channel a lot, it's free, and you can always subscribe later. I'm your favorite Cowboy, signing off.